Hey beauty babes, I'm Racquelle and this is Perfected Beauty. Today's video is going to be all about how to fake the fleek. So basically, how to make your eyebrows look like they're on fleek when really you're due for a wax. I'm going to start by giving them a quick brush to get them going in the same direction. And I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in chocolate, but you can use whatever brow product or brow pomade that you already have. I like to use mine by taking a small amount on the tip of the brush and wiping off the excess on the edge of the jar. We're going to start with the front of our brows, focusing first on outlining and then filling. You can see that I'm using light, short strokes, and this is to help avoid any major mistakes too early on. I'm also not using a lot of product to avoid placing too much too quickly. We're going to continue with those same light short strokes to roughly mark where we want the end of the brow to be, and then we're going to finish outlining the brow. Make sure to leave out all of the unwanted hairs because we're going to be covering those with concealer. I personally prefer a pointed end, so I'm doing that now and moving on to filling in the brows wherever the hairs are sparse. I'm also going to be extending the front of the brow ever so slightly. And once that's done, we'll move on to brow number 2, repeating all of the same steps. Now on this brow, you'll notice as I go to brush it that I have a gap towards the front, and I'll show you how to fix that as well. So we're going to outline the front of the brow as we would normally. And when we go to fill it in, we're going to make sure to pay special attention to where the gap is. Then we'll continue to outline the rest of the brow. And when you're shaping the second brow, it's important to check back with the first one to make sure that you're making them even. I'm going to go ahead and form that pointy end of the brow that I like. And going back over top of where we have that gap to really fill that in. After we have the shape of the brows marked out, we're going to want to go in with an eyebrow brush or a spoolie to brush the product through our brows and really soften up the look. It's important to try and stay within the borders of the new brow shape that we created and to not push the product around too much. I'm going to go back in with a little bit of product where I have that gap and anywhere else that I feel needs a touch-up. Now to clean up the brows, we're going to take our LA Girl Pro Conceal or whatever concealer you like that's slightly lighter than you. I'm going to be using the shade Warm Honey. And we're going to place this just underneath of our brows, but not touching the line. And using a thin, flat brush, go ahead and carve that brow out, pushing the concealer right up to the line. And going over all of those unwanted hairs. Then we're going to drag the concealer down towards our lid and blend it out with our finger. I like to use my concealer as eyeshadow primer as well, so I'm going to add a little bit more and blend all over my lid. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other eye. Now I'm taking a slightly darker concealer that matches my skin tone to clean up over top of my brows. I'm using LA Girl Pro Conceal in Fawn. I find that I'm able to get closest to my brow without completely messing it up if I turn my brush upside down so that the tip of my bristles are just at the edge of my brow. And then as I get close to the arch, I turn my brush on its side. Then I blend the concealer away from my brows and use my finger to blend it out. Because our fingers are so much bigger than our brows, it's easy to smudge the concealer in the wrong direction if we get too close to our brow. That's why I like to use my brush first and then my finger to blend it out. After that, we're just about done. We're just gonna go back in and fill in any sparse areas. Now we'll just give it one final brush through with our brow brush or spoolie to make sure everything looks nice and blended. And now you have officially faked the Fleek. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to follow me on my Snapchat and Instagram. I'll see you all in the next one.